a lot of opportunities to do a lot of different things, as have we all. And why the choices that you made? I mean, you were on an academic course to begin with, correct? I mean, yeah, I
Well, I
swear.
wanted to be an architect to begin with, and because
You couldn't get into the class, right?
well, Hell's Angels slipped me some acid the day before I was supposed to register, and that's in the book. In a place called La Honda, where Ken Kesey and his Merry Pranksters used to go all the time, and I happened to be there without Ken Kesey and his Merry Pranksters, but with some friends, and a Hell's Angel late at night came down on his motorcycle, and he walked up to us and he said, "Hey, anybody here got a wrench?" And I happened to be a Boy Scout, and I kept in my back in my 2002, I kept a toolkit, and I had wrenches in there. And I gave him a wrench, and he went up into one of these tree houses high up in the redwoods. It had been abandoned for years, and he knocked open the drain of one of the sinks that hadn't been used in 20 years, and out fell 40 small purple pills. And none of us had ever gone down the rabbit hole before, but he said, "Here, take one of these." So I missed my registration for architecture school at Berkeley.
Wow.
And I had to enroll by a certain time on a certain day, and I only had 45 minutes when I finally got there. So I ran into the drama department, which happened to be near the building where the architecture school was, and I said, can I fill out 4 forms right now can I take 4 acting or drama classes, and will they fulfill all of my requirements for my freshman year? And the guy said, well, if you do this, this, and this, yes, you can. I filled them out, and I ran to the administration building, and I ended up taking these 4 classes, and one of them was an acting class, and it required that I audition for every play that they were doing at the school. And I'd never auditioned for anything before, but I went to the very first audition, which was that week, and I got the part.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I never did architecture. My course was definitely architecture. I wanted to be, an architect, and I never did it. Well, I designed the stores, when I designed my house and stuff like that, but I never got paid for doing it.
Do you regret it? Do you regret that you didn't do architecture?
I have no regrets.
No.
And it's clearly meant to be. I mean, these choices the choices that we think we're making actually are putting us on our path. I believe in destiny, but
Well, things happen for a reason, yeah, and thank God that I feel that way, because if I didn't, I would probably be, I would have to have stock in Xanax.
So I have a question for Harry. Did your brother remember the incident with the pee in the pan?
I've never asked him about. He and I don't really speak. He's an alcoholic living somewhere.
How so?
Because we both were cut from the same cloth, and I ended up going to Yale from Berkeley. I got kicked out of Berkeley and ended up going to Yale. And while there, I decided to get a degree in psychology because I needed to fix myself, because I was fucked up. We were fucked up from that experience of growing up. So I studied psychology and have studied psychology ever since, and been to therapy for years. And had I not, I'd probably be in the same trailer that my brother's in.
And now the thing that got you arrested that you couldn't get into Canada for, so how did that, well, you'll read the book and it'll resolve. I'll read the rest of the book and it'll resolve, because that's what I'm up to, and I'm trying to figure, because you're trying to get through the border and you cannot do that.
I couldn't get through the border. I was arrested several times. And the last time that I was arrested was the second time I was arrested was in East Hampton, New York, and there's a nice chapter in the book called A Night in the Hamptons. It's the only time I've ever been to East Hampton I spent in jail for sleeping on the beach, which you're not allowed to do there, which I didn't know at the time. And I was in a sleeping bag with a woman named Peggy Brim. I don't mention her name in the book because she's now married to Jeff Bucas, who is the head of Time Warner. And it was one of my close friends at Yale, and there are too many stories, there's too many skeletons in his closet that I could tell about, which I'm not going to because he's the head of Time Warner.
I asked this question of Lisa, and I think this would also be a nice question for Tom to answer too.
Todd.
You can ask Tom.
Tom. John Liver is like in my head. You have young kids. I mean, they're coming into teenagerdom.
And after hearing Todd, I'm scared she
So what is your take? I asked Lisa and she had a great answer, but what is your take on keeping them? I mean, obviously you've done a lot of work on yourself to make yourself better for your children, regardless of being an actor and in Hollywood and all that. What do you do to protect them, to make them not have that childhood that some of us have had with crazy parents?
Well, I've never asked my kids to take their belt off, which was common in my household.
Yeah, the strap. We have
The strap. I've never hit them, and but I don't think that's how one develops the kind of moral center that I think you might be talking about. And you know, we're pretty strict when it comes to their computer use and what they see on television and what they see in the movies and
How old are they?
what they're exposed to, 9 and 12. And you know, they're constant thing. Well, yeah, but everybody else does it. You know, and it's like, no, sorry, you're not everybody else. You know, and I think, you know, because Lisa and I have done a tremendous amount of work starting years ago with the Course in Miracles and going all the way through with tons of, you know, all the people that Oprah has found, we all found them first. And we went through all those things with Eckhart Tolle and you name it. So we've taken all of that information from all the work that we've done, and I think probably that gets distilled into some kind of child-parent format. I don't know. I would say that probably helps.
Todd.
Yeah, a lot of the same. Oddly enough, one of the things that my wife and I first sort of became friends about was reading a lot of Alice Miller books, I'm sure you know. And in there she talks about what it really takes to make a monster and what it takes to all that it takes to raise a you know, a decent human being. To raise somebody who requires a lot of help later on in life, it has to be pretty systematic. The kind of, you know, disregard or abuse, or what you want to call it. And so every family, every parent makes mistakes. I have sworn at my daughter. I don't know if you know that. And you step back and you go, anything is retrievable. You go, it may take time, but you go, I know what I did. And I'm sorry I did it. And often, or in this case, she started. Because you no matter what you say, you're modeling for them every single day. And so if you fuck up and you apologize, they go, oh, well, you're supposed to apologize when you fuck up.
I think that is the secret right there. I mean, my mother never admitted she was wrong, and I grew up never admitting I was wrong. It took for me to get into recovery, for me to start saying I'm sorry, and for me to start owning my stuff. I never said I was wrong, and I believed my own shit. And so my children, I fuck up all the time. I mean, literally every day I have to apologize to my kids. And they've learned to apologize to others. I never did that. So yeah, the modeling, it's all about the modeling. And I don't blame my mom or that generation, because they didn't have that model.
No, they had a very different upbringing. So I have tremendous compassion for my parents, and I forgive them for whatever they were doing.